Now, did my final go well today? It's a separate question. That question is different from the question of, is school over? But the answer to that question is yes, school's over. Wahoo! Oh, man. Are you a barrister yet? No, but I am 35. Thanks for asking. Did the final go well? I took 3 finals. Final number 1 went pretty well. I don't know my grades or anything. That'll be weeks. Final number 1, think I did pretty well. Final number 2, think I did pretty well. Final number 3, you know. It's a mixed bag. It's a mixed bag. I don't think it went super well, but I'm very happy that school is out for summer. Here's the thing. My intention in this whole law school thing is to go on Big Brother All-Stars 3, win, and then stop doing law. I mean, Ashley's done that. I feel like she's been very successful. I'm sure she'll get back into it sometime, or maybe she won't. Who knows? But that's my strategy, right? So this whole law school thing is really just a way to bide the time. 2 out of 3 is good? Yeah, I think so. Just like Ashley? Yes. Exactly like Ashley. I'm going to play the same game, too. Let me thank some subs. A lot of subs today. I wonder how that works. I guess it's not being live for about 3 weeks. Tom, Indow, Katie, Cowboy, Rune, Heather, Kayla, Liz, Pillsbury, Jerry, Katie, Kenzie, Lexi, Will, Gina, Jane, Superfly, and Beth. Thank you, Indow. Thank you. A 10-stream streak? Sick. Coming back after that wild Reddit post? Okay. Let me lower my audio a little bit so it's less aggressive. So I'm sitting in on campus. I'm in a classroom. What I try to do when I study is I go into school and I find an empty classroom and I just study. I find it a lot easier. If I'm here, I've got my computers and a TV, and America is like very good at like letting me study. But you understand, it's hard to study in this environment. So I'm just on Reddit between answering questions, giving myself a bit of a break. And then I see the post and I'm like, oh no, I'm cooked. No studying is getting done today. Here's what I'll say. Every final I took before the Reddit post went well. Every final I took after did not go as well. So that's concerning to me. I don't think there's a causation there necessarily. Correlation? That's just objective. I don't know what to say. I also have good news to all of the people who prefer looking at me when I don't look stupid. That contingent of the fan base, I'm getting a haircut in a couple of weeks. So we're not going to have many more, Cory Panaro in the future. I am going to be back to streaming consistently. On this break, I'm going to try to stream 3 times a week, minimum. It's going to be very difficult because we're traveling a ton. While I'm in Texas, we're leaving tomorrow to see America's Family. I'm going to be streaming there at least a few times, which should be very manageable. Then we're going to come back here for 5 days. I'll try to stream then. Then we go to Florida for however many days. That'll be fun. And then New Year's in Boston and Providence with all the Big Brother people. I believe that's public, so that'll be fun. I'll try to do at least a stream with some of the Big Brother people when they pull up. And a very special Pound Town podcast, absolutely. The next thing on the Patreon will be Survivor. We recorded that 20 minutes ago. So episodes 2 and 3 of Kagayan will be uploaded today. And then a podcast between me and America, probably filmed in Texas. Because we're leaving tomorrow, so. Quinn talks about it all the time. Yeah, I thought it was like a secret. And then apparently everyone's talking about it, so fair enough. Joey sighting soon. Oh, man, I'm excited. America, excited to see your family? Yeah, I'm excited to see your family. It's been a while. Anita, thank you for the 21 months. And Relevant Moose, thank you for the 22. M. Sanny for the 19. I appreciate you guys. We are at the finals, BBCan 5 or 2 weeks. I'm not sure how the episode structure works. If it's more than 3 episodes, I'll break it up. But if it's just 3 episodes. Luigi's Mansion coming back? Probably not, to be honest. Just no one watched it. I'm sure, I know some people did, but the viewership, because I could see the back end viewership on Streamable, and no one watches it. So I'd rather like replace it with something more worthy of watching. You know what I mean? I think we might do a book club, me and America, just talking about the Hunger Games series because she finished reading all of them. She just finished Sunrise and the Reaping. So maybe we'll just have talk about that. I finished season 1 of Glee because I loved watching it so much. Yeah, Glee I'm on the fence about. We'll see. Glee, no one, like some people watched it, more than Luigi's Mansion, but less than, obviously, the other shows. Penis is back? What is this referencing? Something like Telltale's The Walking Dead or Life is Strange would be perfect for Patreon. So here's my verdict that I've decided. Or not decided, that I've discovered. Verdict, just the wrong word. What people like on the Patreon is America and I being a couple. It mostly manifested through a podcast, or if we're playing a game together, or just being a couple doing couple things. You know what I mean? Or they like stuff about reality TV, which makes a lot of sense because that's the basis of the community. The idea that like the Patreon can pivot away from those ideas, I think is really ambitious, and I don't think we have evidence of it working. I think the book club was very successful. Obviously, we know why that ended. Live streams got pretty toxic. But I think like that's been my understanding of how the Patreon works. We should talk about Housewives. It's a lot of homework for me. I gotta catch up. Can somebody explain to me what happened with the Big Brother 27 drama? I know America knows it. America, do you want to come out and explain it to me? Or do you not want to... I know you're not going to vocalize your thoughts on the drama, because why would you? But what happened? I don't understand. I'm not on Twitter. So my understanding is that some fan DM'd Keanu a lie about something that Ashley or Rachel said, and then Keanu went off about it on his stream, and then Ashley and Rachel went off about Keanu going off about them. Is that what happened? What was the lie? Do we even know what the lie was? You can do lives on Patreon. Those links can't be shared. It's straight through Patreon we can do lives. It's not like a YouTube unlisted thing. It wasn't a DM, it was a comment on stream. Okay. That he wouldn't be called for All-Stars. That's what we call comedy. The Keanu would not get called for All-Stars. I don't think Rachel and Ashley are hunting for drama. Here's my read on the situation given what I know. Rachel and Keanu don't get along. I haven't talked to either of them about it. Just that's the internet understanding of the situation. It seems accurate to me. I don't know why, but having watched both of them on the show, I think it makes sense that they wouldn't get along as well, right? Like, that doesn't inherently surprise me. Maybe something happened in jury. Maybe they just don't mesh. Who knows, right? And I think both parties wanted the opportunity to talk about the other one. And I think this magical chat message provided both of them the opportunity. So after Keanu thinks Rachel should talking him, he's like, finally, I can say something and not be the bad guy. Then he ends up being the bad guy because the thing never existed. And then Rachel's like, all right, my green light, let's go. Now, the moral of this story, I think, is very clear. Don't trust fans. But not you guys. You guys are chill. But in general, don't trust fans, because fans are liars and they're evil and they're out to get you. Not you guys. You guys are cool, right? But in general, I think Big Brother fans are a net negative to society, not you guys. That's my takeaway from this whole thing. I just wish Tommy Italiano wasn't involved. He's not, unless you allow him to be. Okay?
Literally, fuck off.
It's a lesson we all gotta learn. He's not involved unless you want him to be involved. It was really only about Ashley, but he brought Rachel and Jimmy into it. That's even funnier. He seized the opportunity. I appreciate you, Golden, for the 6 months. Hope you're doing well. He also said Ashley didn't win. Morgan and Vince lost. I don't know. Here's the thing. I think if I won Big Brother, right, BB25 turns a different way, I end up winning. I do think I would be pretty defensive of my game years after the fact. I think right after the show, I would be very much like, who cares? Come on. They lost, I won, money's mine anyways. Who cares? But I think like 2 years later, if I saw my game being shit on online, I would get pretty heated. Right? Like I don't really hold that against Ashley really being annoyed about that. Like if you fire a shot at someone, they get to respond back. Keanu thought that's what he was doing. But yeah, of course Ashley won the game. It's kind of how it works. And I don't mean to be like pedantic, but I think the idea that Vince and Morgan's mistakes led to Ashley winning, I don't think is true. I don't think Morgan and Vince made a lot of mistakes throughout the game, so did Morgan. Ultimately, I don't think taking Ashley to the final three was a diabolical decision. I think Ashley did a good job to get herself into a position to be taken there. Then she popped off in the final three. Like, I really don't think Morgan lost the game by making any decision. Vince, you could argue, did it a few times, right? Maybe more than a few. But I don't think you can say, like, Morgan and Vince lost. They didn't really do anything wrong. They just kind of, in terms of the end game, them reaching the final two. Keanu also voted for Ashley over Vince. Yeah, he regrets that decision, I would imagine. Keanu then messaged Tommy Italiano and blamed it on a sick family member. I don't know about that story. That seems like a mess. People blame Vince for reading the directions wrong in part 2. Well, that's the truth of it. If Vince read the directions correctly, or the directions were more clear, which is my perspective, Morgan wins the season. That is just a fact. Maybe Vince cuts Morgan. That's a possibility, right? I would give that a 10 to 15% chance. It's not nothing. But that is what happened. That doesn't devalue Ashley's win. Like, it's not her fault part 2 is the most physical part 2 I've seen in years. The sick family member had him stressed. But maybe that's, like, I'm not going to hope his family member's doing all right. Any of the final three were deserving of winning? Yeah. I think this is the best final three we've had in years in terms of narrative, story. I think 3 of the 4 best players were in the final 3. The 4th is Rachel, so. Like, think about it. In BB26, I think Chelsea's obviously the best player, and then none of the rest really matters. People would say Cam's top 3. I don't really think so. But maybe. I mean, it's really hard to come up with names for BB26. On BB25, I guess they had 2 out of the 3 best players, depending on if you put Jag or me as 3. It's one of those things that's kind of like a self-fulfilling prophecy, though, or maybe that's the wrong terminology. Just like, it's a concept that like affirms itself because whoever gets far is interpreted as the better player, even when they're not. Like if Cam just goes the week that Brooklyn went, Cam's thought of as like Zach. But I maintain Vince would have taken Morgan if he won part 3. I 100% agree. I don't think we have a reason to believe he couldn't. I just think Vince would have had enough doubt in his mind that he could lose to Ashley. I think he would convince himself of it. Morgan would hammer him all day. And it just wouldn't happen. I joined a few minutes late. Did we celebrate the good news? Jag and Jazz are covering all tabs for New Year's. Y'all haven't met Jag and Jazz. They're way too prudent. Not even like selfish. They're just like responsible. They did give us a nice ass bottomless brunch the weekend of the finale. And I know they didn't have the check yet, so I don't know what card that went on after Big Brother. Let's talk about the Amazing Race quickly before we dive into the depths that is me. I'm so happy for Jag and Jazz. They're just great people. I was going to say Jazz especially. I'm happy for Jazz especially. Obviously, Jag's been there before. I am also glad because I haven't been on Twitter, so maybe Twitter hates them. I wouldn't be surprised if they were rooting against them at least. I think people do have more of an appreciation for Jag the person and the TV character this season than they did on Big Brother for obvious reasons. Amazing Race is a less antagonistic viewing experience. And I think at this point, the Jag haters you just hate the game. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing to hate there. And Jazz is in that same boat as well. So, super happy for them. I legit, like, the second that Zach and I were called for the Amazing Race, the second we thought Jag and Jazz got the call as well. We were kind of playing footsie with them forever, trying to get them to say something, us to say something. Eventually, they were the only team that we talked to about it because they, being the great people they are, let us stay in their apartment during the Palisades fires. Like, they're just good people. And we immediately knew we had no chance of winning because they were in the mix. At least that's how I felt. I don't want to speak for Zach. It's just broken. Like, Jag is one of the 5 best competitors in Big Brother history. He beat the Elders. He also beat every other time in Big Brother comics history. He also beat Cameron in 7 out of 9 competitions. Jag had weak competition, and Jag is an elite competitor. Both things are true. And then you get a second one of him and put him on a show where half of the show is navigation, and yeah, they run a trucking business. Like, this was bullshit from the start. I legitimately think they have an argument. I don't think it's even an argument. I think it's, like, pretty obvious that they are one of the 3 or 4 best Amazing Race teams of all time. The record certainly shows that. They set records in how many legs they won. And if they were on next season, they'd win again. So that's just kind of one of those things where, like, it's just unfair. And I admire everyone who is able to push them. Izzy and Paige, I think, were the stars of the season. I wasn't watching episode to episode. I don't want to act like I was, but they had such a good underdog story. They have such a good dynamic. They're willing to talk shit in confessional. It's everything you want out of reality TV. Everyone knew that with Izzy. I think they were exposed to how good Paige is as well. Just shout outs to casting. I'll be honest, not thrilled with their decision making on this Amazing Race cast, but I actually think they put a good cast together with one massive error, one massive exclusion. But I think they put a good cast together, and I think calling Izzy for Izzy and Paige is such an inspired choice. And I'm happy they made it so far. I think Izzy's probably one of the only people on the show who loves The Amazing Race. I don't know about Paige's fandom prior to all of this, but, like, Izzy loves it. So it always is nice for me to see other people who appreciate the opportunity and, like, care about it so visibly. No, I'm not even like dissing Enzo. It's just the poor decision was not putting me on. But, like, Enzo, at the end of the day, like, they like their Boston accents. If we had accents, we'd have a better shot. And I liked Enzo on season 12. You know, I am lower on his game now than ever before, but so there's that. There's our little Amazing Race chat. Like I said, finals went okay. 2 of them went good. Today's I don't think went really well. Just it was a lot of content, and I don't know if I panicked. It just very disorganized. We'll see, right? You have nerd accent. Don't say that. That is an insult. Congrats on finishing finals. It is a big relief, though. I've been pretty miserable for about a month now. I think I haven't had the best habits this semester, studying, preparing, doing my readings. Don't get me wrong. I'm not going to class. Like, I'm a student, and I'm doing the work. But I think I put myself into a position where I really had to make my life miserable for a month, and I'd like to avoid that in the future. That's the goal. You got to Boston too late, literally. We're watching Sravakagian. LJ's from Boston. I knew he's from the Northeast, but God, he does not sound like he's from Boston at all. First semester of grad school is the hardest. I mean, it's the same for law school. The first year is by far the toughest, which, you know, we're only halfway through that, but good so far. Don't they say the first year is the toughest? It really wasn't. I don't think it necessarily has to be that tough. I think there's a way of doing it that is very, very manageable. But I had a pretty tough time. The schedule kicked my ass a bit. Anyways, someone made a post about me on Reddit, and I want to talk about it because it's just interesting. Like, the response, I think we've reached the point where I'm too heavily discussed for my relevance to the grand scheme of the Big Brother mythos. And as a result, people dislike me because there's a subset of like nerds that really like me. You know what I mean? I don't know if I'm overrated or now I've been so overrated that I'm somehow underrated. I kind of think I'm just rated at this stage. But let's read it. It's fun. You know, I like talking about this stuff. Okay. So, we got me not being anywhere. Guys, help! Where am I? Chat? Why am... Oh, is it this webcam capture? One moment. Hi. Hello. Okay. So, the title, Cory Wurtenberger is probably better than your favorite player of all time. Here's the thing with this title. Here's the thing. It assumes that most people's favorite player isn't good. And I think at the end of the day, most people's favorite player is pretty good. Like, what percentage of the Big Brother fan base's favorite player is one of Dr. Will, Dan, let's even widen it out, Tyler, Paul, maybe even Taylor, you know? Like, there's a lot of good players who people would have as their favorite player. But their argument essentially is I'm better, Cory is better than most players, so most people's favorite player is worse than Cory. I don't know if that's true. Favorite isn't always the best. Yeah, but I think people gravitate towards the good players, or the players who at least were there for a while, which skews towards good. So let's read it. Cory Wurtenberger is, in my opinion, the poster child for a good Big Brother player. And he puts that in quotes. So far, this is a diss. I don't know how else to read it. Putting good in quotations. And, like, clearly what they're saying is, I'm like the gatekeeper. Everyone worse than me is bad, and everyone good or better than me is, like, actually good. Which it's not an insult. It feels like one. Everything before I assess a player and their ability in the game, I use Cory as my benchmark. This, at first, may seem a tad overestimating Cory's abilities, but I legitimately think he's one of the better players the franchise has seen. Keyword better. There's just so many caveats. Anonymous, thank you for gifting A-Dog a tier 1 sub. We're still above 100 subs. Not bad, guys. One of the better players the franchise has seen, I think, does also imply that I'm, like, elite, too. I don't think that means, like, I'm better than average. Looking back at Cory's game, I think he's a better player than most people give him credit for. In week 1, he starts with an incredible disadvantage by being pulled into the nether region, and being an auto-nomination. This is an initial handicap. General suspicion that stems from his archetype of a nerdy superfan. He was in deep trouble. That his play to Riley is probably first boot. Him being able to survive that first week with such disadvantages and build from that point to gain social capital is impressive. I agree. I think it's one of my best moves of the season, just because it was objectively good. There was no ifs, ands, and buts about it. I think I get lucky with a Riley HOH. I also think I get lucky that Felicia just tosses Kirsten under the bus instead of me. I think if Felicia walks into the HOH room and says, Riley, we all know who the problem is. That Cory guy. And then I'm cooked. You know what I mean? But yeah, I agree. This is a good move. Then goes on to find a spot in the middle. Yeah, I think my strongest week was week 3. Creating tactical bond with Suri, Jared, and Izzy. Still being an option for the survivors. It's true. Allows him to direct the flow of the game. I would agree with that. I think for this week I had a ton of influence. However, had an issue, in my opinion, with relationship management and reads of how to effectively handle his relationships in the game. With Izzy, he gave her a lot of ammunition regarding his endgame plans. No, I didn't. I'm sorry. This is the bullshit. Like, here's the thing. I made a ton of mistakes. I'll admit all of them. This wasn't one of them. I didn't tell Izzy shit. You think I ever alluded to Izzy that we have to get rid of Suri? No. I did not know that Jared, Suri, and Izzy were bound by blood. I did not know that. We all fucking knew that Izzy was in love with Suri and wanted to take Suri to the final two. We all knew that. So when I tell Izzy, hey, Izzy, I want to go to the final four with you, Jared, and Suri, and then you and me can work something out, and then Izzy runs to Suri and says, Cory wants you out at 7. That's not my fault. That one's not on me. And that's how BB25 was. Like, Izzy would have an opinion, have an interpretation, and it would flip the house. Suri would have a thought, see something on the screen, and the house would flip. Jared would be in a bad mood, the house flips. So it's not, like, unfair to me, like, shit happens. But that one's not on me. Okay? Anyways. I personally view this as more a fault on Izzy, since it's irrational to rat on a player who has you in their endgame. I just think Izzy is was protective of Suri, and she wasn't listening to what I was saying, and was listening to what she thought I was saying. And maybe you could say I was implying that Suri's a threat, but no fucking shit. However, Cory should have been the one to see Izzy as a player irrational and her closeness with Suri. I feel like I was always talking up Suri to Izzy. With Jared, I don't blame him. I agree that one felt out of my hands. With America, he simply either gave her too much information when he knew she couldn't hold water, or he didn't give her enough info and she had to play in the dark. America, you might want to stop looking at stream for a second, because this is going to sound like I'm dissing you, and it's not. I don't think this is a problem of Cory mismanaging America. I think I was in a bind where if I told America information, my game dies, and if I don't tell America information, my game weakens and America's game dies. I really don't think there was a path there. I tell her about 7 Deadly Sins, it gets out. I don't tell her about 7 Deadly Sins, now she's working with Jag. I do tell her, she's telling Jag about it. There really wasn't anything to do there. I think the argument is maybe I just say fuck it, let's vote out America. I think that's a terrible move with the players left in the house. Fully committing to America gets me on the block the next week. I think you could definitely say that I should have advocated more for America with Suri, Izzy, and Jared, but it's just hard to do that while simultaneously having America try to, rightfully for her game, form a counter coalition. Oh, ETH Animal's pulling up? That's huge. ETH Animal, we got to do a stream together. I've got a chair right here. Or you can sit on my lap. It's totally up to you. That's big. Can't wait to see you. So, I think I mismanaged America in moments, because that's how it works when you have a close ally. I really think people don't appreciate how impossible that position is. They don't trust America. So if I tried, what I was trying to do, which I think was the right decision, was get America ingratiated in the power structure. America didn't want to do that. America wanted to form a counter-alliance. And now that's a bind. Okay, because now that she wants to do that, I have to throw her under the bus, because everyone's finding out about her counter-alliance, because it's Jag and Blue. So, I guess my thing with this always has been, what should I have done? Give me the steps. And then always what it comes down to is, manage your relationships better. Which is okay. Sure, maybe, I guess. I could maybe, just be better. I'm okay, maybe. I think really I accomplished the goal, which was keep America in the game while keeping Suri, Izzy, and Jared from targeting us. Until the time came. I think that maybe it wasn't the most beautiful journey, but we reached the destination. We flipped the house, I think, at the right time. Anyways. With Bowie, he wasn't intentional enough in making her feel they were true ride or die allies. Yeah, I think there's something there. I think I overestimated my relationship with Bowie and how much Bowie cared about me as an ally. But I do think this all gets fixed with competitions. I think if America and I are winning, she joins us, but we were never going to win, so that should have been noted. He's able to sort of recover. I agree with the Izzy flip, which I don't think it's contentious whether it was optimal. I think saying it's it was unoptimal is pure revisionism. Like, here's the thing. In the moment, everyone thought it was the right move. After the fact, maybe it was made clear that it wasn't. But, like, I can't operate, with foresight like that, or a future sight. However, Cory's able to sort of recover beyond the Izzy flip. Cory does arguably become complacent. I mean, again, I think it was more me gassing out than being complacent, but I just have to ask, like, what? Here's the question. After Zombie Week, what is the play? What is the optimal strategy for Cory to win the game? Try to put yourself back to that time. Don't just say buddy up to Jag because he's going to win everything. What did everyone think was the correct move for Cory? Comp out. Okay, that's an option. Could have done that. That would have been good. Because it's not work with Mimi and Felicia. That if we worked harder on Mimi and Felicia and didn't expose our final four to Jag and them, we get targeted earlier. I get backdoored at the final 10. And that's why we ratted it out, because Mimi and Felicia didn't matter as players, unfortunately. Neither did me and America. Like, there was a hierarchy in the house. Work with Suri, that's impossible, voted out her son. Work with Blue, she hates us. Work with Matt, I mean, we tried. Buddy up to Jack. I think, look, that was the play, and that's what we did for the most part. So, work with Cameron, not an option. I guess the option is really lock in Bowie, have both of us be her best friend. I think that's the only possible path that makes any sense, and I think we were trying, maybe just not enough, right? Save Jag with the power in week 4. I mean, I would have had to keep the power to save America, I think. So it's just like, yeah, Cory really didn't play optimally. It's like there was no optimal play. There was just nothing. Which I find very comforting in retrospect, because what the fuck was what was there to do? I don't think there was much. However, still has key relationship with Matt and Jag. That's true. Matt liked me quite a bit. At least in the early jury phase. It flips very quickly, but in the early phase. And Jag was always in my corner for the most part. The Blue Suri Felicia thing, I don't know what Felicia's problem with me was. Frankly, that one always, to this day, I don't know what went wrong there. I get, like, we weren't super close, but why she was always on my ass is weird. I guess it all comes down to the Heisem vote, which obviously was the right move for me. Suri and Blue, we know the story there. Even during his boot week, he wasn't the initial target. I think he has good skills. He's able to maneuver through difficult spots, wield a social capital. Yep, I agree. Thank you. Very kind. Zombie week was a tough break for me, but obviously I got too complacent. And then kind of the conclusion is he's a top 65 player of all time. He being me. Okay. I think that's about right. I think I'm anywhere between 55 and 95. You know what I mean? There's 350 players. I think I'm in the top 1/4 of players, I think, pretty confidently. Now, here's, I think, what I want everyone to consider. I'm going to do some sports analogies here. So, Katie, leave. Come back in 5 minutes. We'll be done. Kevin Durant. You guys heard of him? America, you know Kevin.
Yes, skinny arms.
How good of a player do you think Kevin Durant is? How many players in Big Brother basketball history are better than Kevin Durant?
Like 100.
100, okay. So she does not know Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant is a top 10 player. I think a lot of people would argue that until they start making the top 10 and they realize there's too many top 10 players. We've got 15 top 10 guys. And then you realize he's probably like 13 or 14. Maybe if you value certain things, he's 12. I say that to say...
Wait, question.
Yeah.
Is Cliff above or below Kevin Durant?
Cliff's not close. Cliff's really good, though. Cliff Robinson. We're watching Kagayan. Curry better be there. I think Curry is 11th in my ranking. 11th or 10th. It's him and Shaq for me. I'll go down my NBA list. Maybe I'll do that on the Patreon. My top 10 of all time. Okay. So when you say Cory is not an average Big Brother play, he's worse than the average person, you got to then look at the other players. Like, you got to, like, Cory's not even a top 5 player on his season. I'm fine with you having any opinion. You got to give me the other names, though. Because I know a distinction like top 5 or top 65 or top 5%, top 20%, it all seems very complimentary. But you got to have a list, or at least like an idea of a list, if you're going to firmly say someone's not here, but they should be, like, I think people are so, the people who dislike me really don't want to compliment me in any way. And what I'm saying to them is you don't have to. You're not complimenting me by saying I'm better than some players who have never seen the show before and haven't seen an episode since. So I think that's where a lot of the animosity from this post came from, is people saying, Cory wasn't even good. Is he better?
Literally.
Maybe better than some. That's possible. Thank you, Brianna. Jerry, you saying 85% of players are bad is interesting. There's a comment that I want to talk about in regards to that. So let's keep going. You're the same as James Harden. Elaborate. Speak to that. Speak to that, Father. How am I the same as James Harden? Anonymous, thank you for the 10 gifted subs. You like the James Harden comp? That really did it for you? This is huge, Anonymous. Because we gotta... I don't deserve the 10 subs. I've now a monthly streamer. Here's your monthly stream, guys. But I still do appreciate it. I'm gonna consider this my finals gift. So, thank you for that, Anonymous. I'll thank you in like two more minutes too, free of charge. Jag gifting 10 subs. More likely to be Jazz. I feel like Jazz is the one who's more likely to, like, you know what, fuck it. One Lamborghini.
Literally, fuck off.
I would say you're more a Luca. Don't say that. Not after last night. James is an excellent player, but unreliable. What, he's like an excellent player until it becomes the big moments? Like me flipping the vote on Izzy is like him averaging 40 for that, like, 5-month stretch. Where's Kobe on your list? He's probably like 6 or 7. I'm not low on Kobe like a lot of children, frankly. I think his, like, efficiency metrics are a product of the era, but I don't think acting like he's third because he's the closest thing to Jordan is just delusional. But I think he's like the 7th best player. I mean, it depends if you're counting Wilt and Russell, which I usually do. But 6 or 7, yeah, that's MJ then Kobe. Yeah, you're one of those people. Noted. Kobe's right behind Duncan. I tend to agree, but I could really see the argument for Kobe. Like, I don't hate either one. As I think it's a interesting debate. Okay. Thanks for the write-up, Cory. Not funny. This was so insulting to me. The only reason Cory isn't my fave is because he doesn't need the kudos. He would 100% write this all about himself. That one cut me deep. All the Cory lost Bowie, Cory's a bad player, I hate Cory, fuck that guy, doesn't affect me. This one hurt because I don't think they meant to hurt me. Yes, I didn't like this one. Deleted. That's never a good sign. I love Cory, but what is this clickbait title? Yeah, it is crazy. Like, you really set me up. Cory is better than your favorite player. By the way, he's number 67. Like, that would have been a much less inflammatory take, but it probably wouldn't have taken off as much. Yeah, I mean, Janelle and Kaser, I think Janelle's a weird one because it's like, how much do you value her comp ability in the old school era? because that was like literally a superpower of hers that got her close to winning a few seasons, but her game in All-Stars was just kind of terrible front to back, and her game in 6 was like better, but not great. I don't. Who knows if she even wins in a final too. Yeah, Yvette was not good. Yep. Shut up. Ooh, free promo. I really did make this post. I was ready for a really funny shit post until I tapped read more and realized this was serious. Meta shit post. Okay, let's just talk about this one. Why does a post about me being good, why would you think it's a shit post? I'm going to assume it's because the very exact phrasing of the title, not the premise that I'm good. Do you think your game might have been longer if you didn't flip the Izzy vote? I think it's almost exactly the same length. I think in retrospect, I have more win equity because I had 0 win equity in the version that happened because of comps. But I think I'm more than likely to get 7th, 8th, or 9th. 6th is probably my peak. Because you have to, here's the thing, you're really assuming I'm like sweeping Izzy in comps, sweeping Jared in comps. I think in those later game comps, I would have an edge over both of them. Call me crazy, I believe it. But I wouldn't be consistently beating them. Like, if they targeted me 2 weeks in a row, they'd evict me. You know? But yeah. Average player at best. Lost his individuality after the showmance, but I think he would have happily chose his relationship with America over being called a great player. I would now, but I wouldn't then. So I don't know how to react to that. But again, when you say average, what do you mean? Can I be a nerd for a second? Is that okay? Average is such a particular word with a mathematical definition behind it. We all know what the average is. I believe in actual arithmetic, it's the highest value minus the lowest value divided by 2, correct? That's the average. The mean would be every number added and then divided by the number of elements. But when you say average, really what most people mean is 50% above, 50% below. Do you believe that? Do you believe that? If you do, okay. I don't think you mean that. I think you just mean average as a pejorative. Anyways. Yeah, and then this happened. Cory's probably a bit overrated, but he's easily an above average player. Yeah, I think I agree with that. I think overrated is just like, how do you rate me? I think the proper rating of me is, yeah, he'd probably be the 3rd best player on most seasons. Name a season where I'm not. Any All-Star season, maybe 23 is close. 23, I might be 4th or 5th. 17, I might be 3rd or 4th or 5th. Like, you know. That is Roku City. I would consider someone like Derek X an average player. I don't believe Cory had a better game than him. I do. I believe it. I believe it. I believe I had a better game than Derek X. Who would win more seasons out of 100? Derek X. I think I had a better game. Let's start a real beef. Someone go into Derek X's chat. Say Cory thinks you're better. Also, he was going against the cookout. So, you know, I feel like I had a lot of adversity. I think a season with the cookout is tough for me. I don't know if I'm able to insulate myself. I think it would be tough for me to work my way in there. But me and Big D could probably be quite a power duo. Someone make the DX vs. Cory post? Nah, y'all are setting me up. People love Derek X. Rightfully so. He's awesome. But don't do... Whoever... Mods ban that person. Do not do a Cory vs. Derek X post. Absolutely not. Now, Derek X, knowing how to play Big Brother from day one, might be a good player. He might have more tools than me. But just based on the games we had, I think I have the edge. I think I just had more to do, frankly. Are we doing a Big D simulation? I haven't been thinking about it. If Cory's an average player, you must find like 80% is utterly incompetent. I'd say closer to 90% of players are incompetent. The average BB contestant is awful. Cory was forgettable IMO after he fell for America. But again, I'm sure he's very happy with the way things played out. I kind of wanted to win, guys. Honestly, I think I could have had both. Nowadays, obviously, I'm happy with how it played out, of course. But I don't think me saying anything else is going to help. So this is a really interesting quote to me. I low-key dislike the most people are so bad at Big Brother argument because it's too negative. If they're above the 50th percentile for a player, then they aren't bad. It's just a difficult game and people make errors. I think this is an important point because I think Big Brother players have a reputation of being really bad at social strategy games. Now, I think because of how Big Brother casts its show, there are more bad players than a show like Survivor. If you just took the Survivor castaways and put them in the Big Brother house, I think you'd have a higher level of competency because one values fandom more than the other. And fandom means game knowledge. Game knowledge means you're probably a more cerebral, nerdy type of person, which means you just know how to do this shit. But the viewing experience of Big Brother is tailored to making players look like shit. It's not because of the edit. It's not because production wants that. You just get to see everything. You get to see everyone make stupid mistakes. Instead of seeing Zach have one bad conversation with Drea or Tori, it would be 3 days of all of us knowing that Zach is going out and Zach not knowing it, and then seeing Zach have these conversations with Romeo where he thinks he knows what's happening when he really doesn't. It just looks worse even though it's the same thing. If it was Survivor, all you would see of my boot week is Cory's there, Cory is the target, Cory doesn't know it, Cory was blindsided. Wow, Cory really got too comfortable. Instead of, how is Cory talking to Blue of all people? He's not, he thinks Bowie is with him. That's just how Big Brother works. So I do think, like, the perception of the average Big Brother player, that player is better than people think because the game is a lot harder than people think. I thought the game would be really hard. I did not anticipate coming off as such a clown in certain conversations. But you can't help it. Like, you have so many of them, and you only have so much information. And the viewers have all the information. So, are you planning to read Taryn's book? Yeah, I'm sure. I'm really... There's been a lot of shit going on, but I'd love to. He went along with the compies, even though Jag and Matt were going to dominate every time over Cory in America, instead of the two old people and Izzy. Jared couldn't win a comp either. He had a better chance going with that side. Bikini Girl? Damn. I'm really on the fence between I respect your opinion and go fuck yourself. Which one should I go with? Should we do a poll? Should we do a poll on this one? It's just like, do we neglect the part of the story where I don't get to then, like, if I go with Suri and them, I lose America, which there's no one else to work with. I run out of people really quickly. Like, that was always the concern with going with Suri and Jared. I don't have anybody. By making the affirmative move, I keep America, which is valuable, and I get people like Jag and Matt temporarily, and ideally Mimi and Bowie for a long time, like Cameron I'm flipping with all of a sudden. The prudent social strategic move was to flip. Knowing that it's all a comp run after the fact, like, where are my odds better? Me and America trying to eke out one HOH when, like, there's 4 quizzes? Or me trying to just comp out against people who are, like, equal to me in comps? Look, I'm better than Suri and Felicia. Everyone else is a toss-up. I can't beat Blue consistently, Mimi consistently. I could beat him any competition, but, like, in a row? I don't think so. Jared won, like, 4 comps. Yeah, I've always been super anti, like, Jared was handed all his comps. Like, first of all, y'all, if you guys like Jared, you would love him convincing Matt to give him the veto. That's a sick move. To protect his mom from going on the block, that was dope. Him winning the wall, he got the best position. I'm sorry. The fact that Jared won the wall is kind of crazy. And then what was his other one? The quiz. He won a knockout comp. Like, what the fuck do you want him to do? I only beat Suri because Suri buzzed in wrong. Jared's not a bad competitor. He's bad at some things. I think those endgame comps he would have been bad at, but he was good at a lot of stuff. So this is what I said. Dropping this 2 days before my last final exam is diabolical. Appreciate the kind words. You could tell by how long this response is that I was not bothered. I want to establish that first. I think immediately once I dropped this, everyone realized that I was kind of like just commenting on this like a third party, like a spectator, just trying to give my thoughts to the community. I was not affected by the post, nor by the comments under the post. And I think that's what sets me apart from a lot of other reality TV contestants, who've engaged in this influencing world, is like, I'm able to separate myself and my emotions from my actions. And that's what I was doing here. I appreciate the kind words, but I think the key to any ranking type conversation is acknowledging how every BB player makes a billion mistakes and there is so much more variance in the game than any of us nerds want to admit. This is an example. When I tell Jared, hey, Jared, this is like week 1 before Jared and Suri are visibly super close. Hey, Jared, I think Suri is one of the best Survivor players of all time, and you really should be careful about trusting her. Like, we can go deep in the game with her because she can't win competitions, but, like, please have your guard up with her. She's a menace. That conversation put me in, like, the 4th best spot in the house, when it very easily could have gotten me evicted the next day. Then I go to Izzy and say, Izzy, I think you, me, your mom, and your brother should go to the Final Four. And then Izzy runs to Suri and says, Cory's targeting you tomorrow. There's just luck. There's luck and there's variance because human beings are not chess pieces. And, like, over the grand scheme of things, when you have a billion conversations, it should, like, even out so the better players do better than the worst players. Like, that is usually how it works. But I think people fail to recognize just how much luck there is in the game. And there is just luck. Like Ashley's pitch to Lauren to keep herself from the block. It could have just not worked if Zach or Vince said anything to Lauren. But it did. And it was Lauren's doing, or Ashley's doing, and we should give her credit for it. But it could have just failed. So it could have anything. Like a Morgan staying against, who is it? Riley, of course. What if Ava just froze up in the moment? She got very close to doing that. What if Rachel doesn't go out in the White Locust? You think Vince's game is good at that point? With Rachel still in the house? There's just a lot of luck. But, just saying it's all luck is kind of a boring conversation, so I get why we don't, just stick on that point for too long. I said people who will claim players like Vince, for example, are bad may have a decent argument, but they're basically admitting that 80 to 90% of players are bad. I think Vince is easily a top 1/3 player in Big Brother. I mean, he was the 4th best player in his season of 17 people. Most of the legendary Survivor players would fall into the same boat if you had 24/7 feeds. We already talked about that. I said, so am I good? I don't know. But most people are really bad. Again, it's just like the framing. I kind of disagree with this, what I wrote after reading that comment. I said there was this post about the top 10 women to ever play the game. And that list, by the way, was created by the same person. I didn't even realize. That list had players like Ashley, players like Morgan was right on the list, players like Chelsea was like number 1, and there was a lot of names there that people were like, this person's not top 10. And then America and I literally were in the bedroom talking about it. I'm like, who is top 10? Like, they left out Casey, which I thought was a glaring omission. Casey's really good. She just is, whether you like it or not. But when you try to come up with the 10 best women to play Big Brother, there's just not that many answers because, like, every player has a stain of being bad. Every single one. So. And it's not just women, obviously. It's everyone. Franzel's top 10? Yeah, for sure. I mean, come on. She's top 2, and she's not 2 in my mind. Also, whoever said I was dumb for thinking... This is my sticking point. I'm sorry. This is a right opinion. I don't even need to read it. I just have this argument hardwired into my brain because people tried to bully me off of the live feed updates for it. Bullying is strong. Sorry, that was a jag moment. Here's my argument. This is about the vote where Vince had to choose between sending Riley and Morgan home. The highlight of BB27. I'm very happy he chose to send Riley home. I am not saying that it is obvious that he should have kept Riley. It's not my argument. My argument is it was a very tough call, and both arguments are more than viable. I believe to this day, the better play in the moment, and I said this at the time, was to keep Riley. Which seems crazy. I mean, like, Vince and Morgan were so tight. They're like a final two, and Morgan won all the... First of all, they were very close at the time. They were like each other's number one. I think that's fair to say. Vince was a bit more split, but, they were close. But Morgan hadn't shown any comp prowess. Like, she was being clowned online for losing everything, right? She would go on her comp run after. So we didn't know how big of an asset Morgan was going to be. Second, by keeping Morgan in the house, Rachel's position skyrockets. Ashley's position skyrockets. Morgan's position goes from evicted, skyrockets. Morgan's running the game now. Kind of. You know what I mean? Whereas, you vote Morgan out, Rachel ain't got shit anymore. Fuck does Ashley have? You're riding with your crew of Riley and Keanu and Catherine, and yes, they all like Riley more than you. I just don't think Riley could have capitalized on it. He's a terrible player, and terrible players do terrible things that lose themselves the game. I heard Zach was this genius social maneuver, and everyone loved him. He was going to march to the end, evicted week 5. Riley is running a cult. He has all these allies, evicted week 6. Bad players find ways to get evicted. I'm not saying I'm great, but like, if you really don't understand the show, you don't know how the veto works, you're just not going to make it far. And yeah, you could win comps. Twists can help. Like, there's ways Riley could have won. It's not impossible. I just think the idea that Riley was going to move forward with Catherine and Lauren through Catherine, and then Keanu and Kelly over here, and even still, Vince would be the best player on that side. He's very connected across that side through his connection to Keanu, which would still exist, his connection to Lauren, that would still exist. He's still decently fine with Riley and Catherine at that stage. And here's the crazy thing, the judges would still need him. And that's always my sticking point. It's like, just because you vote against your alliance still needs you because they don't have anyone else. You being the swing vote who went the other way, you still remain the swing vote next week. You win an HOH, you could then target Riley if you want. Like, I just think it was the wrong call, but it was very close. There's a lot of reasons to keep Morgan. It's one of his closest allies. Riley did seem to be amassing a lot of power. Morgan was a good in for him with some people who were targeting Vince. Like, what frustrates me about that opinion, because I said that opinion on my live feed update with Tara, not as eloquently, maybe, or not as fleshed out of an argument as I'm saying now. But Taryn shut it down because Taryn had a very strong perspective on the other side. And then people were like, damn, Cory really doesn't watch the feeds. He has such a bad read on the house. I just think it's a difference of perspective. I think it was a fine move. I think it would have been better. But I don't know. Maybe it wouldn't. There's a chance Lauren could have beat Vince in a vote, though, with something like Ava Kelly Cat. I mean, you're worried about Vince's final 2 scenarios with Lauren. Like, I think leaving all the judges in the jury is a lot worse in my head for Vince. Also, what's bad for Vince is flipping on all of his allies. That's what really had Keanu turn on him momentarily. He got him back. Yeah, putting up Rachel week 7 I think is a good play too, but he got lucky with the White Locust. I think he has more win equity if he keeps Riley. I just think he would be entering the end game with so many bad players. Keanu's the best competitor, and Keanu loves Vince. Lauren's one of the best competitors. Lauren loves Vince. Vince is one of the best competitors. Vince loves Vince. And Riley, maybe he would have won stuff. I don't think Riley is comping out in the end. He doesn't seem like he'd be a player who'd be really good at comps. The one thing he won was total bullshit. Like, why would we believe that Riley was going to comp out? Maybe he could have. I don't know. But usually you want to be like a smart person who has some level of athletic ability. I think Vince would be better at Riley than at all the endgame comps. Vince loves Vince is debatable. I don't think so. I don't think Vince dislikes himself. I think it's hard being in there. So this is just saying Riley's a cult leader. I disagree, but it's just like the idea that like Riley's power structure is going to stay intact long enough to run the game and send Vince out. I think that's when you start extrapolating. Like right after the Izzy flip, oh my God, Cory, Matt, America, and Jag Final Four, and nothing can stop it. 1 week's a long time. 2 weeks is a really long time. 3 weeks, it's a whole different house. Like, I just like his odds with worse players left. Okay. Yeah, I mean, the main argument for keeping Morgan is like a ride or die for Vince, and that's very valuable in the house. I think that is the best argument I would agree with. I was shocked some picks like Taylor, Ashley, and Tiffany would be controversial. I think Taylor probably misses the top 10 for me by just a bit. She's probably like 11 or 12. Like, I don't think she's far from that conversation. I think Ashley squeaks in at like 10. If I'm saying Ashley's like the 16th best winner, 17th best winner, 18th, like she's like a mid-tier winner, I think that gets her into the top 10 players. But it's close. Respectfully, no, it's not respectful. Shut up, Fnac. 625 independently simulated versions of BB25. I think Matt and Jag win like half of them, just with the comps. Matt because that house was really good for him, and Jag because Jag. This season really brought to the forefront how highly people hold Taryn's opinions. If you disagree with him, a lot of people weirdly take offense. I mean, look, this is not Taryn's fault. Like, most people don't watch the feeds. And I'll be honest, unless I'm actively doing an update that week, I won't watch the feeds as much that week. So, like, most people's only understanding of what's happening in the house is, like, Twitter clips, which exist less because of no playback, and Taryn's updates. So everyone's brain is made up of Taryn's analysis, Taryn's update, Taryn's opinions. So when you deviate from Taryn's opinions, they don't have the content to support your argument. They only have Taryn's perspective. So, like, obviously anyone who disagrees with Taryn seems ridiculous because all the evidence supports what Taryn's saying, but that's because Taryn's evidence is Taryn's perspective and Taryn's, read on the house. I think that's how it works. It's friend of the stream, Ander. Oh, what's up, Ander? You're out of your goddamn mind if you think I'm reading all of that. I read it on stream for 175 people. Cory's a very smart guy, but not a great player. He's just not strong enough socially. I think that ultimately is the right perspective. If you want to criticize my game, like, socially, I think I was a lot better than people would think, just because, like, you have to be, like, think about how long I was in that house without winning shit and being a threat. But, like, at the end of the day, that's the only answer to any of my problems, was just being better socially, which is really hard to quantify, but, like, Felicia inexplicably just being against me the entire season, me never being able to smooth things out with Blue, me and Jared having our continuous tiffs, Matt having some vitriol for me, Cameron hating me. Like, you could look at every individual scenario and be like, or circumstance, relationship, and be like, okay, Cory, that's not your fault. Like, Felicia, you saved her 6 times. Why didn't she want to be working with you? Mimi, you tried all game. What? At the end of the day, like, why did no one trust me and everyone trusted Matt? Part of it was I was more strategically assertive, for sure. I was doing more out in front. But part of it is just, like, I'm not particularly amicable. I'm a little bit abrasive. I say a little bit too much sometimes. I'm not gonna, you know, and that I think makes me better casting than I am a player. So I think this is like the argument I actually can get behind. It's like maybe if I'm just better socially, Blue's fine. Like Blue gets over the Jared thing. Felicia gets over it. Mimi wants to work with me if she just likes me more, has more of a connection with me. None of it matters because of comps at the end of the day, but like that I think is fine. His handling of America in the game was terrible. I just can't get behind that. Throwing her under the bus was like, first of all, it wasn't even strategy sometimes. It was just like self-preservation. Like I was trying, like my plan for the first few weeks was let's get America into the power structure. And then America, and I would tell her exactly what not to tell people, and then she would tell them that, and then it would get back to me. Like at a certain point, like I don't care about America's game. I care about my game. So that was part of it. My final two was Jared until I realized that was not viable. They say this: you have to either throw her under the bus completely or fully commit to being a duo with her and actually keep her secrets. I just kept her secrets. Like, does any? It makes me so mad because they showed that fucking conversation in the episodes. Me telling Jared that America is going to target Suri, Izzy, and Jared down the line. They had already heard from Blue and Jag and the DR. I'm in a corner. If I say she's not targeting them, that's also a disaster. I can't read their minds when they're willing to consider working with America and when they're not. It all felt like a trap. Like, you think I was the first source to tell them this? Like America goes to Jag and is like, Jared's a problem. America goes to Blue. I think Izzy and Suri are running the game. It's like, when they're all getting this information from other sources, and I'm supposed to be like their main guy, their source to the other side, what the fuck do I do? I just think it's so much easier to criticize the move and the decisions rather than like recognize and appreciate the circumstances that made that decision. But so there was this one guy being a dick. He practically sent America into death traps when Jared was HOH. Like I feel like I was a huge reason why she wasn't nominated weeks 3 and 5, like the main reason. Not to take credit away from America, you could say America working on me socially is what did that, but it was like not wanting to burn me was why they didn't put up America. You know what I mean? Week 3, it was like active work. Week 5 was like just circumstances of how the house was laid out. I don't know. It just makes me so frustrated. What if top 20 player, if he had not cannonballed into a showman's, top 20 is ambitious. I don't think so. Not outing Brown Sugar Bibs to Mimi, I think most people would understand the circumstances there. But even when I did out it to her, she didn't care. So that was kind of rough. Sure. I disagree. Yeah, this probably wasn't helpful. These are the kind of things that, like, as a player, I'm like, yeah, I probably wouldn't have done this. April Lewis washes him. It's fucked up. Not even the best Cory to play. I think I'm better than Cory Brooks. That's another hot take. I'm sorry. He's a big, strong man who almost won the game. Unimpressed. I was rooting for Cory, though. I liked him. You think this person hasn't seen the deep dive? Come on. I don't think we've ever had more confirmation that a deep dive has been watched. Oh, shit. This pissed me off. He has no grasp of what the board actually looks like. No sense. This just strikes me as I've only watched Terran's updates. And that's like what forms all of my opinion. So anything outside of the scope of what Terran says has to be blasphemy. Cory Wertenberger is your favorite player's favorite player. I don't think that's true. But I think it is a funny way of phrasing it. We're so back. Who else thought the first stream back would be this electric? But that'll be the BB25 talk for the next 3 weeks. Just had to get it off my chest. You know how painful it was for me seeing that post get that much traction? Me not being able to stream and talk about it? If Quinn is someone's favorite player, it works. Low-key, Quinn, underrated at this point. I think Quinn's an underrated player. But I don't know what I'm going to be doing on stream. Like, I'm going to have to come up with some ideas. But we're going to do some stuff. I'll be streaming in Texas. So probably, definitely not tomorrow. Maybe on Saturday, maybe on Sunday. I'll probably do a sports stream at some time to give all my sports takes.
Literally, fuck off.
Shout out to the 8 viewers there. IG subs coming back. Yeah. There's no reason for it not to be. Finals got me just literally fucked up, but I'll post some stuff. I'll post something tonight for sure. You will take the night off. Katie, take the weekend. I was thinking that Quinn might be the exactly average player. I think that's an interesting take. I think Quinn's probably a little better than average. Just because, like, he's too good socially, and being good socially automatically makes you
Literally, fuck off.
better than average. But RIP your Chiefs. Can we talk about my Super Bowl prediction of, I think, Chiefs-Falcons or something? I was between Falcons and Vikings for the NFC. My 3 of, like, my 4 NFC champion or AFC NFC championship teams are going to miss the playoffs. Diego or the Indiana QB for the Heisman. I think it should be Mendoza, but Diego Pavia is a legend. Diego Pavia is sick. And we poached a 5-star recruit from Georgia next year. So Vanderbilt has a competent coach. We're gonna have a top flight quarterback. It's gonna be competent. Thoughts on Wicked 2? I thought the music was significantly worse, but the acting was a lot better, and I enjoyed it more than Wicked 1. I think Ariana Grande's performance in Wicked 1 was kind of ass. I think in Wicked 2, she was like the highlight. So, like, I really do think Wicked 2 was a little bit better for me. I had to just, like, accept that this is not canon, and that made me enjoy it a lot more, because it's not, like, it doesn't claim to be. Because there's so many things in my head that didn't make sense. Like, I thought the Scarecrow was there for decades or years, or he was there for a long time. But if you just consider it as like a totally different movie, then it's fine. Are the Thunder going to win the finals? And why is the answer yes? I mean, I think Denver has a chance. Currently, I think it's Thunder is like 70% to win the title over the field, which is unbelievable. And then I think Denver, Houston take up the other like 20, 30%. I genuinely don't think there's a team in the East. Okay, actually, here's my NBA title pie. The pie chart. Thunder, 70%. They're so fucking good. Nuggets, I think, are the next best team. I give them like 15%. Rockets, I'm going to give 5%. I think the Rockets are legit. They actually pose some problems to the Thunder. They clearly can compete with Denver. I'm going to give 5%. This is going to be a bold take. I'm going to give 5% to the Celtics. The Knicks, I'm sorry. The Knicks could easily come out of the East. They do not have a fucking shot against any of these Western Conference top-tier teams. The Thunder's offense versus Cat and Brunson, are you kidding me? Defending Jokic with Cat. When the Timberwolves beat them, they had Gobert. Like, here's the one team Thunder lost to. I think Portland, right? They're scrappy. I just think the Celtics, with their system, Tatum coming back, a lot of good role players now, Kata's looking good. Like, they're a team that has, like, championship pedigree. If Tatum comes back and looks good, Brown's taking a leap, Derek White can improve. Like, I think they are the only team in the East that I think can compete with the Thunder. And I think they would be heavy, heavy underdogs, and I would pick the Thunder. But I think the Celtics, out of any team in the East, has the best chance to win the title. I think the Knicks probably have the best chance of just winning the conference because the Celtics are such a question mark. And I'm a certified Cavs hater. I think the Cavs are just regular season merchants. Cooper or Kahn for Rookie of the Year. I think it's going to end up being Cooper, but I think Kahn's been better to start. I mean, he's just like genuinely. I mean, if he was being paid like just his value, he'd be making like $25 million as a rookie. Good defender who's like the best shooter in the league, movement shooter as well. Like he's insane. Pistons just don't have the roster. I like Cade a lot, but I just think they're too young. They're too young, and they just don't have the pieces. Jaden Ivey and Cade are like good pieces to build around. It's just like I don't think Asar is there yet. I don't even think Cade's there yet to lead a championship team. Where do we think Giannis ends up? I don't think he ends up anywhere in the trade window. I think it's going to be in the summer, and I think the most likely option is probably I think it's probably the Hawks. The Hawks or the Magic, I think, are the two that I think are most likely. The Magic, I think, maybe try to get rid of Paolo because that would actually be somewhat valuable for the Bucks. And the Hawks would do something with Trey. Derek Queen's been awesome. Yeah, my dad went to Maryland, if you guys don't know. Derek Queen, he's just, unfortunately, he's the kind of player that, like, is just not that good. Like, he's too short to be a center. He's too bad of a shooter to space the floor. He's not a good enough defender to defend. Like, but he's awesome. He's a great scorer. And putting him on the same team as Zion is just so funny. Like, but I like Derek Queen a lot. Watch your mouth. Yeah, you're 3-18 Pelicans. Cup winner predictions. I'm going to go with the Oklahoma City Thunder. But low-key, here's my power rankings of the West, okay? Oklahoma City Thunder in a tier of their own. It's not close. Then I go the Nuggets, Rockets, and Spurs are all that second tier. They're all good. Maybe third tier. Like maybe there's a tier between the Thunder and them. But the Spurs are legit. Oh my God, they're good. Their young players are so good, and I think people forgot how good De'Aaron Fox was. That year where the Kings were the 3 seed, went to Game 7 with the Warriors, like, De'Aaron Fox, he's legitimately good, and they have all the young guards who are playing really well, and they have depth, and they're adding the best defensive player in the history of the league, who also averages 25. If Wemby could stay healthy, like, I think they could actually present real problems for the Thunder. Because, like, they have a 7'4" guy who shoots 35% from 3, who attacks the rim more than ever, and is the best defender in the league, and they have the speed and athleticism to contend with OKC. Like, I think they have more of a shot than anyone. Lakers are just like, their roster is just kind of fundamentally broken. I do think it's actually LeBron's fault. Not because he's playing poorly. Like yesterday, I thought he was the best player on the Lakers by quite a bit. But, like, his contract is just too big for the redundancy that he is. Like, he just takes up too much space in the roster. And, like, it's not his... Like, he's doing fine. Like, Austin's been worse in these recent games. Luka, we're going to have a real fundamental conversation about if Nico Harrison has some insight that we don't, because Luka Doncic just doesn't fucking get back on defense. It's so embarrassing to watch. Like, I can accept him being bad on defense. That's fine. He's actually, I think, better than people think, just man-to-man. But, like, they're just whining to the refs is so frustrating to watch, and I think it just deflates a team. LeBron being a liability is just because of the cap and circumstance. Like, he is, I think, still a top 20 player in the league. I think he could get back to about the 10th best player as he was last year. But, like, you can't have him, Luka, and Austin. It just doesn't make sense. So they're going to have to do... I don't know what they're going to do with LeBron if he wants to play next year. Like, it's a tough spot. He's going to have to take a big discount, or they're going to have to get rid of him. And I think he's the best player of all time. And I think he's been playing really well the past few games. It's just like... Obviously, you're not going to give up Luka. You can't give up Reeves at this point. He's too good, and you're not going to get anything better in return than Reeves. So, Nico's unemployed. He deserves it. It was the worst trade in NBA history. But, like, I think Luka is... His flaws are, like, debilitating for a team unless your team construction is perfect around him. Because it's not just being bad at defense. I think he, like, destroys morale in some of these games. Can you see LeBron taking a discount? Very doubtful. I think he would take a discount if he meaningfully thought it could help his team win. If he actually... And the thing is, like, the Lakers won't pay him $55 million. I mean, Jeannie Buss might. But she's probably going to be ousted. What do you think about the CP3 and Clippers? It's just embarrassing from the Clippers. Like, if he was just being super annoying in the locker room, I get it. They're just trying to solve an internal problem, but, like, just fucking tough it out. You guys suck anyways. Getting rid of him is not going to fix anything. It's just going to look bad. Is Luka and Reeves that good of a backcourt pairing? Yeah, I think it works. I think it's fine. You just have to... You need, like, athletes surrounding them, and they have no athletes on the roster. Jared Vanderbilt's terrible. Like, he's not playable. Rui Hachimura is a 4 who's playing the 3, and even as the 4, he's not a great 4 defender. Jake LaRavia is shit. Marcus Smart's fine if he could keep his back together. I think you could work with Austin Reeves and Luka Doncic because Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving worked. Luka Doncic and Jalen Brunson worked. I think Jalen Brunson and Kyrie... Or Jalen Brunson is a much worse defender than Reeves. Kyrie, at his peak, is better than Reeves as a defender, but not that much better. And Austin Reeves' offensive peak is not worse than Kyrie's. Like, Kyrie's got a deeper bag and looks better, but, like, Austin's been insane. LeBron is the third option. I mean, LeBron accepts that. Like, it's not... I think it's just depending on the matchup. Like, LeBron, people want him to be, like, a super... selfish guy who always wants the ball in his hands. You just haven't watched basketball if you think that's what he wants. Like, he's always been, like, a great off-ball player, relocator, screener. He's now a great spot-up shooter. Like, LeBron can fit whatever. Like, LeBron is straight up the best defensive player in the Lakers starting roster, and that's a huge problem. He is better than Rui. He is better than Luka and Austin, and he's better than Ayton. Ayton, by the way, has been pretty good. I'll give him that. But that's more of a testament to the roster than, like, wow, LeBron's a great defender at this stage in his career. So. Any final questions before I bid you guys adieu? I didn't expect this to be a whole little Sports Center talking head moment. I think I disconnected from the chat. Yeah, it just said welcome back to the chat room. Or chat's died. Don't like my LeBron takes. It's fine. I understand. Did Quinn inspire the hair growth? My, what's the word? Negligence is not the right word. Oh, I'm scarred. Fuck you, Torts. What's the word for just, like, ambivalence, maybe? Apathy. Apathy is the word. NFL playoff predictions. Ooh, I'll save that for another day. But right now, I think I like the Rams or the Seahawks to win it all. I think the Bills. I think people sleep on the Bills. Like, they've looked terrible, and there's no reason to respect them except for the fact that they have, in my opinion, one of the 5 best playoff quarterbacks on their team. I still think Mahomes is better, but Allen's straight up a demon in the playoffs. Dolphins, honestly, I'm glad Mike McDaniel's keeping his job. He's not the problem. How about we have, like, not the worst defense in the league? That'd be good. Ready to run through the airport tomorrow to catch your flight? Don't say that when America's in the kitchen and can hear me. Burrow. I don't blame Burrow. If I was in Cincinnati, I'd want to leave. He does have to be careful what he says because he was, like, the one complaining to his organization that they need to sign T. Higgins and Jamar Chase, which is really why the roster can't be good. But the Bengals are so cheap, and, like, you should advocate for your guys as the leader of the offense. So I don't hate it that much, but he definitely advocated for this shit roster construction. The fact that TJ is probably out on Monday is what we're going to say if we lose to y'all. Are you going to Texas and Florida? Yeah, Texas, then back here, then Florida, then back here for New Year's. Are the Panthers making the playoffs? Ask my dad. They could hear that. America, right now, is Giannis going to be a Knick? Do it again?
No.
America just flashed me? Nah, you can't actually see anything.
Yeah, okay.
Anyways, she didn't flash me. Forgot my dad's watching.
It's so funny hearing the questions because I went live like a week ago and I was like, oh, I'm going to Texas next week, and they're like, wait, who's going to Texas? Are you going to Texas? Is Cory going with you to Texas?
I mean, you did insinuate that you broke up with me online.
No, when
you removed Cory's girlfriend from your TikTok bio. How else are they supposed to take that?
We've already discussed this.
Let me say, by the way, just because we broke up doesn't mean we can't get back together.
Yes. Stop.
Okay. You know what's funny is, like, America was saying, like, I don't want to take it out of my bio because people are going to be so annoying about it. And I literally told her, I'm like, America, there cannot be consequences to you changing your Instagram bio. We have that is the point of no return. When your TikTok and Instagram bio become like, I'm bound to the fans. I can't change them. Don't say that to me, Dad. That's such a weird thing to say to your son in chat.
What do you say?
Yeah, that's enough for me. That's enough for me.
Molly's in the chat like, what?
Is Quinn live? Is anyone live to raid? Any friends? No, doesn't seem like it. Tragic. All right. Appreciate you guys. I'll stream in a couple days. See ya. Bye-bye.